Welcome to Jeep Beach News and Views, a podcast about everything Jeep Beach in Daytona Beach, Florida. Here are your hosts, Charlene and Kurt from JBR.
Hey y'all, and welcome back to Jeep Beach News and Views. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm kind of upset with our producer.
Why?
Because, I was trying to snap into a Slim Jim and he just shut me off.
What are you talking about?
I know. We were playing before we started the podcast there, producer Rob, and we have a special guest today. Everybody say hello to Mr. Mike Mills. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing well. Thank you for calling me special.
Well, I'll call you special too, but there's different kinds of special.
I know that.
Mike, you
Rob's
and I
special
seem
too.
to be turning over a new leaf in our relationship because I haven't given you a whole lot of pile of poops lately.
Oh, boy.
How do you feel about that?
Well, your normal greeting has been missed. And I know I can't say that on air, but it's been missed, I guess.
You missed that?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I can go back to those ways. I was trying to be, I didn't want HR coming down on us anymore.
Hey, you've seen our HR. You're good.
You talking about me?
That's what I did for a living, and I didn't put up with any. People would say that. I didn't care. I'd say call each other names. That's how it was.
If that makes you feel better,
That's
right?
right. That's right.
Those are terms of endearment in our world.
That's
Well,
right.
we had
They are.
major terms for endearment of Rob last week when he wasn't
Oh,
here.
God.
Oh, do tell.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
Oh, yeah.
Bring it on. What did you guys talk about?
We talked about everything
All
last
kinds
year.
of stuff.
I know,
Yeah.
I saw it.
And you wasn't here.
You did not say mean things
No,
about me.
we did not say mean things about you, Rob.
I think I
We
could
love
say
you,
today
Rob.
that you should have been
Should have been a cowboy.
No. He should have been better than that.
Should have learned to rope and ride.
Yep.
Hey, speaking of rope and riding, hey, you did the rodeo,
Well, I was a minor league bullfighter, I'd put it that way.
minor league,
Yeah.
but you still love going
Okay,
to
so
the rodeo.
I do.
Does minor league bullfighting compared to professional bullfighting? Did you have a smaller bucket that you had to jump in than what the pros had?
And I never used the barrel. I worked it, but no, it's the same thing. I just mean that we weren't, we got paid, but not very much money.
Okay.
You had to really like to do it.
I don't see anybody really liking to do that.
Oh, they do.
They do.
The guys that just absolutely. I'll bring up a guy. His name's Skipper Voss. He's retired. I'm guessing he's in his 80s now. He was a journeyman electrician and fought bulls on the weekend. Now,
Wow.
Let me
Go
tell you.
figure.
yeah.
Either I'm gonna get killed by electricity
Or by a bull.
One of that's a man living on the edge right there.
He
And he's
got-
still alive?
Yeah, he got hooked up, but I mean by bulls a few times, and that's what did him in the end. Injuries, it does. Just like football or any sport. Injuries do you in.
It does.
Well,
I mean, married 30 years.
And I'm almost 50, so
See?
you can tell why I'm all crippled.
No, is that what I got to
Between
look forward to in
service-
20 more years?
between your service and serving our military, between bullfighting and being married to Miss Judy for almost 50, hey,
I had,
are you on your last life?
Yes, I had an easy job in the military. It was really easy. Even though I was Vietnam era was getting to the end, so it was really easy.
Wow.
And marriage is really you guys know you just gotta work at it.
That's it.
I give her all the credit in the world. I got to tell you.
I do too.
Yeah, that's because you know me.
Yes.
Amen.
Yes, we know. Love you, Judy.
Thank you for putting up with him, Miss
So,
Judy.
Mr. Mike, since you are kind of the head man of making sure this obstacle course goes the way it's supposed to and everything getting lined up, can you give our listeners out there some details?
Well, and that's what I wanted to say. So you give him that introduction, but I do want to let G Beach Nation know, literally, that Mike oversees the obstacle course and Cracker Ranch for us, and you work hand in hand, or the event directors work hand in hand with you on making sure that all things are a go. And Kurt wants details. I want to know your initial reaction when I said, okay, Speedway approved us building on the ball field. Were you ready to kill me?
No, I wasn't ready to kill you, but I I go out and look at stuff first, and I had people actually in the last couple of weeks call me and say, let me back up a little bit. On Friday night, I went to a retirement party of a company, and they invited me, and I don't work there, but I'm a customer, and they invited me. And at that party, there was probably 100 people. Probably 4 of them asked me, why did the obstacle course move? And I explained, but then they said, this was the most important thing. Am I going to get to see it? Because they love to sit in those bleachers to see it. And I said, well, you're going to be sitting on the track. Some liked it, some didn't. But they come, you talk about the obstacle course because they like to see people tear up their own equipment and not theirs.
Yes.
And I think that's one of the draws to that. People just they don't
Love
want
to watch it.
It's like the Christians and the Lions.
Yeah.
They want to see them almost roll that Jeep over or bend it up or ruin a transmission. That's what and we regularly get very little of that.
Yeah.
But they like to see them bending those bumpers. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
They
Well,
really do.
and your obstacle course team, which consists of Jerry and Red and a lot of others that help build, they're pretty good at putting in a rock garden and some obstacles that definitely bend the bumpers, as you say.
Yeah, we talked about that actually on the other show. That what you see there is people bending stuff up, and people enjoy it. But for the most part, you don't do any damage. It's a controlled environment, and so it's not like our off-road experience is a controlled environment, but less controlled. It's a little bit more of mayhem with less control. Now you can on that obstacle course, you go in the rock garden, you can break stuff
Right.
really easy. And we had a guy last year. I don't believe it had anything to do with our course on that first hill, and I'm talking about the obstacle course. The transmission went out.
Oh, wow.
Going up the first. It
Did,
was going
did
to
he
go
come
out
down backwards?
Yes, he did, and we had to tow him out. So
Did you?
Yeah, but first hill he didn't make it up. He had been on other stuff, but I'm sure that transmission was probably ready to go, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah.
That's not
Absolutely.
gonna do
Yeah,
it.
that was the straw that broke the camel's back, so to say.
He just went up a little bit and boom.
said, "Here we go."
It was gone. So.
Well, let's talk about that because it is controlled. And I know these stories for people that are wondering, can I do the obstacle course? There are lanes and there are skill levels, but there is the opportunity for brand spanking new Jeepers, have never even put their Jeep into 4-wheel drive, to come out and begin to learn what their Jeeps will do, correct?
Absolutely. Usually when we don't know exactly yet this year, it's always a surprise. And I have to give Jerry and Gadget and Red, all the people, if I told everybody that had something to put into that,
wow.
we'd be here all day.
Yes.
So I'd like to say that, but they put in thoughts and we make it. And usually the first lane is the easiest. And you literally could usually go through it in a 2-wheel drive, although we ask people to put it in 4-wheel drive so they don't get stuck. But we do try to make it that level, and we have instructed numerous people on how to put their Jeep into 4-wheel drive because they don't know.
Right, brand new. And that's what's so cool about Jeep Beach and our obstacle course is that we do build it. So it is, and I say we, y'all like how I'm taking credit as part of this team. But it's built so that the very new Jeeper can begin to experience all the way up to those guys that are doing the big hills and the rock garden and tearing stuff up and getting to show off.
Yeah, we actually have, real crawlers that come there, as you guys know. And it's not the easiest thing. And part of it is the spotters. By the way, that's one of the other things we're going to work on is training spotters on telling people what to do. That's coming up again in almost 2 weeks.
Yep.
But this weekend was last weekend we did a trial run to try to get through all the things just at the ranch, and we're going to train these spotters. That's the plan. So they'll help you get through it. But I think the greatest thing is I think you should do both if you like to go out in the country, and it helps us because we have to pay for this stuff. We all know we're here to raise money, and so everything you spend for us really helps. But if you want to come out to the Cracker Ranch, come out. It'll be totally different than the obstacle course. The obstacle course again is included in your price to get in.
And your registration.
And so if you come to that, and we only get let's say last year, I think we got 7,000 Jeeps in the horseshoe, right?
Yes.
I think only 1,500 actually use the obstacle course. So 1,500, and a lot of them use it multiple times.
Right.
They go through as many as they
Right.
can. But it's something you get to do, and unless you go in that rock garden, you're probably not going to scratch anything up or tear any.
So
All
don't
you do
be
is
afraid.
get mud. No,
so
don't be afraid.
Don't
You
be
can have a
afraid
good
to
time.
use it. It's part of your registration. Come out and try it. At least try like you said, if you're worried about tearing something up or whatnot, do the lesser. But to have your Jeep on the infamous ball field of the Daytona International Speedway that you mentioned, and spectators are going to be sitting and watching. But don't be intimidated by that, because y'all, if I can do the easy lanes, y'all can do and I hate to call them easy, because there's still some articulation, there's still some mounds.
Okay,
And
now I got to butt in. She's being. I've seen you back trailers down. So she is I'll put it, a driving woman.
I am.
Would that be a fair statement?
That's a fair statement.
Yeah, she is. And so she has some experience. And I've used her myself one time. I hate to admit that.
Go ahead, tell them. Go ahead, tell them.
I took a bunch of young
Everybody
girls.
listen to this. Go ahead, tell
my
them.
niece and her girlfriends to Cracker Ranch, and we only had one Jeep there, and they got stuck. And who was the closest? Charlene. So I had to call her to pull it off. But she knows what she's doing. But everyone can become an expert on those, or at least experience on those without tearing things up. And you will be able to drive it home. You're not going to ruin it where you're going to drive it home. Now at the Cracker Ranch, you could ruin it and not drive it home if that's what you want to do.
Especially if you don't listen to the spotters.
Yeah, or you go in that water that goes over the hood of your car.
So let's wrap up the obstacle course, and then we will talk a little bit about Cracker Ranch. One of the things that I want Jeep Beach Nation to know is how much dirt do we bring in? People ask me this all the time. How much dirt? And it takes a lot of dirt. It's 250
loads or yards.
Loads.
Yeah, I think we're going to have over 300 yards.
Over 300
loads this year. Yeah,
wow.
Roughly 18 yards of dirt in each one. So.
Wow. So I can't do that math in my head, but that's a lot of dirt.
And we start bringing it in on that Wednesday before. Now, it usually is done in 2 days, but then we start taking it out, and that takes 2 days to take it out also after it's over.
Well, it's just such an amazing thing. And this year, I'm glad that you and your teams did not shoot me when I said we got the go-ahead. We actually got the go-ahead and decided to announce before I even told y'all. So some of that team I owed an apology to, because I like to try to give as much heads up as I can. And when they said, can you come make the announcement? I said yes, and I couldn't get in touch with the team fast enough. So really, y'all learned about this move on Facebook Live with everybody else.
I am always in awe. The term you guys always use is amazing, but I'm in awe of these volunteers and the thing they do. And I'd like to have a list and read every one of them off, but you can't do that. But the things they do to make pleasure and fun for people, and they know the money goes to Jeep Beach, to charities, but they just enjoy it. Red's a prime example.
Yes.
He really likes doing it. And he's like you. You call me, you give me a different greeting. He calls me a name that I can't say on the air. It has to do with being old, but it includes some of the words you use to describe me. Yeah.
I like it. Well, thank you guys for the obstacle course and embracing this move. Jeep Beach Nation, we cannot wait for you to be on the ball field obstacle course. It's funny because our map developers dubbed it the Gauntlet.
Well, they dubbed it the Gauntlet.
Yes.
So
one of my favorite Clint Eastwood movies.
There you go. So the Gauntlet, it will start being built, as Mike said, on Wednesday, April 17th, ready for you guys to access it when we're ready to go live in the Speedway. There'll be some sneak peeks of it throughout the week as it's coming together. Jerry and I have already made plans to make sure we're covering the build so you guys can get excited. And it's not too late to get your registration. Heck, if you get into Daytona Beach and you've not bought your registration, you can still buy it on site. We are not,
70.
and we're not going up on site registration this year. We want to make sure that all of you pay the same price throughout. so that you have access to coming out and experiencing such a drastic change to our event and the experience that we've all come to love as Jeep Beach. But then let's jump to Cracker Ranch. Now, the team out at Cracker Ranch, we've got new event directors out there this year that are incredibly knowledgeable. They have come up underneath our former event directors that oversaw Cracker Ranch, known as Jeff and Chris and their entire team. But the Andy and
Tim
and Jay have taken that on, and they've worked with the former directors in the past, so they're very experienced and ready just to take it to a whole new level, I hear.
And yes, and last weekend, the new directors and the former director were all there and to go through it. And I just see, like, Jay and Tim and Andy call me all the time. Jay just called me yesterday. We're going over the tire, what's the name of the tire company wants to be out there?
Hankook, the Offroad Experience.
And we're setting them up. So it's the same piece of property. We're trying to add new things, and we're doing training with the people that are going to run it, so that we're going to have. I don't want to. I don't want to tell.
No, that's
keep it a surprise. Keep it an element of surprise, but it's going to be cool.
So, Mike, how many volunteers do we have at the Cracker Ranch? Roughly.
Well, over 30 usually.
So over 30 at the Cracker Ranch. So this, and to let people out there know, these are 30 people who have gone through training as far as pulling out a Jeep, winching it, strapping it, whatever it needs to do. So, don't be worried about if one of these people come out to help you get unstuck. Stay in your Jeep. Let them get out there. Let them do what they're supposed to do, because they've been trained to do this to keep anybody from getting hurt.
Well, now sometimes when you're stuck in that mud that's up to your waist, they let the person that's stuck in the mud connect that end, and then the other end. And that happened this weekend. I don't want to say the name, but someone had to get out. And
Michael, you didn't call me.
No, wasn't me. Charlene wasn't around. I learned my lesson. But someone had to be pulled out, and Gadget pulled them out. It wasn't a big deal. But,
that's fun.
But they do.
It happens.
And they direct you. Yeah.
It happens.
Really do.
No matter the experience level, it happens. That's what's fun about off-roading.
Yes.
That's right. So we were out there about a month ago, just riding around.
To show some special guests, and we can talk about this briefly.
But my question is, it was really dry. And now we've gotten some rain here in the last little bit. Is it still pretty much passable in a lot of the areas?
I'm going to tell you a story. On Thursday, I was out there of last week, and you could drive all the way in the back in a two-wheel drive pickup truck and not get stuck. On Sunday, you couldn't get into the back with a two-wheel drive pickup truck, and you would get stuck. So a lot of water had fallen, and by the way, we're prepared for that. If we have a dry one, we pump water in.
Right.
So
okay, good.
And he's got the method for pumping more water now in there, because he's cleaning things up, making lakes.
Yep.
He has water to pump, but it was pretty wet. I just told you one guy, and he's a very experienced, probably the most experienced guy that.
And he got stuck.
He got stuck. Yeah, and went right up over the hood, and then we had to pull him out. So. It was really nice. So
we're good.
A lot of mud. Now they control that. They make trails, and you'll follow people. So don't be afraid you're going to get in there and get stuck, and nobody will find you.
Perfect. And that's what I also wanted to say, because you definitely, the trails are manned and monitored. You guys mark the holes, so you know the depths of the holes.
Yes.
And if they tell you not to go in a hole, don't go in the hole unless you want to hydrolock your motor.
Yeah. and we get people every year, some I don't even know about, that just go do something. They tell them not to, and they go do it anyway. And they get stuck, or they get kicked out, or things happen. We've never had a serious problem out there. And we've had engine lockup, I think, a couple times. I don't think we've ever had a real rollover.
Right.
We've had things that have to be towed out. Yeah, very safe.
Because again, fun environment, but it is a controlled environment, so that we can make sure that you are able to take your Jeep back home with you.
Yes.
And some of those trails out there, I had someone ask me, now I'm in a Compass, it's 4-wheel drive, or I'm in a Renegade, it's 4-wheel drive, or I'm in a Cherokee, it's 4-wheel drive. 4-wheel drive, yes. 2-wheel drive, no. Do you agree with that statement?
I agree. And we had a Renegade, I want to say it was the second or third year, and he also came to the obstacle course, and went through every single
There you
obstacle
go.
on the obstacle course with a renegade. Now, he was scraping bottom, and he did the same thing at the Cracker Ranch except for the deep holes.
Well, there
Oh,
you
that's
go.
awesome.
Yeah.
So when I tell you these things, you guys, you just heard it from Mike, who oversees both of these areas, the obstacle course and the off-road experience. And so you can do it. You don't have to be in just a Wrangler. How you like that? How do you like that this
Well,
morning?
that came out of right field.
It did come out.
You know, I thank for saying overseeing it, but these guys do all the work. The volunteers do all the work. I'm just the flunky if they got a problem that says, how can we fix this?
Well, you're a board member that knows how to fix it.
No,
so.
I'm not, but I really am serious. Those people,
They
their
do.
heart and soul goes into it. There's no other way to put it. They really,
That's awesome.
really enjoy it.
And we appreciate each and every single one of them, just as every area of Jeep Beach, because Mike, I want you to you say it most eloquently, and I can't believe I just said Mike has eloquent words. But what do you say about our volunteers and volunteers as a whole?
I've told you this many times. The heartfelt I feel from them. Volunteers are what make this country
Yes.
go, and the volunteers that make Jeep Beach go are what we all are there for. And it's a wonderful thing, and it's just like volunteering for the military or any other thing. These people put their heart and soul in it, and I'm amazed at sometimes some people give up 3 weeks of their work time and vacation to be there. And so it
Exactly.
costs them a lot of money. They're hard-earned dollars for heartfelt volunteers. It's just great.
To come provide an experience for you, Jeep Beach Nation, that you take home memories forever. I love hearing from people when they're like, this is my 10th year, this is my 12th year, because Jeep Beach is in its 21st year. I don't even know how many years we've been out at Cracker Ranch now doing the off-road experience, but it's many.
I did the first year, and I think the first year we had it was I want to say 15 or 16.
So there
Yeah.
you go. We're coming
Yeah.
up on 10 years.
And
so,
actually, Michelle Hoff and I talk about, because we were in charge of the
Yes.
front in those days, and we had a method for counting people in or out. And I love this story. This two women who they were in about their mid 50s, my guess. They drive up, and the sticker's still in this Rubicon. Now it was
brand new.
It was $50,000 back then. So we know that was a long time ago.
Right. Yes.
And they asked me where to go, and they said, how do you put it in four-wheel drive? So we showed them, and then showed them how to put the lockers in and everything. The end of the day comes, and there's 4 people unaccounted for, 2 of which are them. So we get a call, one of us, I don't, Michelle or I, he said, you need to come back and see this. So we go back in there, and here they are. They went the wrong way into an obstacle. And the Jeep was sitting in that black, green water,
Mud.
running inside of the Jeep. They're both out, and they're chest deep in water. And the one has the hook, and she's trying to hook it around a tree, and the other's operating the winch. And I got there, and I said, I'm so sorry. I said, but I'm not going to. No, you don't have to come in here. I'd have paid $50 to do this. and that is a true story. And we let them wench themselves out and then come out, and they just stink. Oh my God, that had to
mud.
stink.
That
Because
mud.
it was
Brutal.
getting hot,
Yes.
but they loved it.
Well, and it's empowering because even when you do wheeling get in trouble, you have solutions, and to be able to do that in a controlled environment where you do go out and you find them and you help, then it becomes an empowering moment for our family, and I love that. So thank you guys so much for all that you do out there. Go ahead.
I told Bart was with us last Sunday, and my nephew comes down. He's been volunteering for years. He's a retired policeman. And one year when he took the training, it was, 6 months later, we were all in Las Vegas. We were off-roading, and the Jeep got stuck in the desert in some deep sand. He said, if I wouldn't have taken that training, I wouldn't have known how to get it out, because he got the guy out. And so that's the kind of stuff you learn. Like you said, real life.
Real life.
That's awesome.
And I love that.
Yeah.
So, well, Mike, thank you. Thank you to every single volunteer, the event
Yes.
directors, everyone that puts truly their heart and soul into creating these obstacle course experiences
Yes.
and off-road experiences. Again, we're in Florida, Jeep Beach. Jeep Beach Nation, we're in Florida. We don't have mountains. We bring in the rocks. We create the obstacles. We provide experience for you to learn to use your equipment or to show it off, right?
That's
so come join us again. You guys, you get to drive your Jeep on the infamous ball field, the grass area at the start-finish line of the Daytona International Speedway. It's part of your Jeep Beach registration. Gets you in there, gets you on that obstacle course. And boy, you guys are going to be some of the very first people, actually the very first four-wheel vehicle to build a course out there. The motocross, supercross guys do. And now we're putting four wheels out there intentionally. Of course, the cars go skidding across there during the races, but that is not intentional. That's not where they want to be, but it's where you want to be. So don't miss your opportunity. Registration is still open, and it's there for the taking, you guys. So
It
go
is.
to
I'm excited.
gbeach.com. Cracker Ranch is an add-on, so you'll need to add on the Offroad Experience to go and do that, but it's very affordable and very worth the money.
Yes.
So,
It is. It really is.
all right.
Okay.
Mike, thank you for being with us. Jeep Beach Nation, we'll see you really soon.
Thank
See you
you
next
all.
week.
I appreciate
Bye.
it.
That's a wrap on Jeep Beach News and Views. Be sure to subscribe for future automatic downloads to your favorite podcast player app. Got a comment? Or would you like to be featured on Jeep Beach News and Views? Email us at radio@jeepbeach.com. That's radio@jeepbeach.com. Until next time, keep all four on the ground and your tops down.